All right, 2023 was the year of AI for investors, and it's not showing signs of slowing down in 2024. Our next guest thinks we'll see widespread adoption of Gen AI, but there will be some major headwinds for investors to consider. Macquarie Head of U.S. AI Software Research Fred Havemeyer is here to get you into the right trades. Fred, so all morning long, we're sitting here, really all week long, I should say, really talking about all things NVIDIA, what might be in store for them. But you're here to say, I think there are other names besides NVIDIA investors should be looking at. What are those names?
Yeah, thank you. We put together a basket of names that we think provide exposure to the theme of generative AI just across a number of different sectors of software. Because even on our end, we thought for a while that Microsoft was one of your primary names to find exposure to significant and we think profitable generative AI growth. So we put together a basket of stocks that we believe have solid exposure to generative AI, either directly or indirectly. And that includes, of course, Microsoft, ServiceNow, CrowdStrike, MongoDB, HubSpot, Salesforce, and PowerSchool. So we're looking at names all up and down the value chain here. We're looking at companies that we think will be monetizing products built with generative AI directly, like your ServiceNows, your Salesforces, HubSpot, even PowerSchool, as well as those that are in the pick and shovel side of things, like a MongoDB on the database side. And those that are exposed, we think, to what will be trends that are supportive of cybersecurity adoption related to generative AI with a CrowdStrike pick.
So you think about some of the largest forces that have driven even investors' attention towards cybersecurity, AI over the course of this year. What type of long tail are you seeing on those trades?
I think that this year was the year that we started seeing in 2023. It was the rise of ChatGPT. We all now suddenly know and can see a really commercialized use case that became extremely popular among consumers and even businesses of generative AI. I think going into 2024 and beyond, I believe that in 2024, we're going to begin to see the first really significant and material signs of enterprise adoption of generative AI. That going into also calendar year of 2025, I think we'll be seeing really significant adoption trends occurring. I think with now products like Microsoft 365 Copilot rolling out, enterprises will actually have the opportunity to adopt and purchase these products, which were not previously available except on early access bases. So going into 2024, we're finally going to see pricing emerge for many of these products. And as a result, and on the other side of this, I think we're going to see a significant trend of adoption on enterprise generative AI. We're starting to see it with ServiceNow. We're certainly seeing it with Microsoft. And as companies roll out more products, I'm looking forward to seeing how the pricing and competition emerges. But I think 2024 is going to be the year of enterprise adoption of generative AI.
Fred, you wrote something very important in the note you sent to us, and it was this: software valuations are back to 2019 peaks with AI enthusiasm and the market pricing in a Fed pivot. Are some of these AI trades set up for failure in January and February as earnings start to come in and maybe just don't meet the inflated expectations investors have?
So looking into this next year, thank you for reading that. I'm very glad that the message is coming across, because we do think that it is actually a point of potential volatility going into this next year, that we're back at a level where software valuations have reapproached the peaks we saw in 2019. Now, we're not looking at the COVID pandemic era inflated valuations during the zero interest rate environment. But when we're comparing this historically, we certainly see that we are pricing in a lot of future growth here. So we would not be surprised if at the start of the year, many companies in the software universe guide at or under expectations, considering that it looks like 2024 has a similar setup as 2023 in terms of companies' ability to sell in a macro environment that's characterized, of course, by now two hot kinetic wars, in addition to rising geopolitical risks and certainly everything that's going on in the interest rate environment. So as we look into 2024, I think that there's going to be certainly volatility. And I think that also offers opportunity, that if there are any sort of macro missteps or any sort of issues with the optics of initial guidance, causing stocks to trade off, then I think that could be offering a new opportunity here to step into names that are very solid long-term picks. Now, I don't have anything that I think is going to miss here, but I do think that any volatility is providing an entry point into high-quality names.
Yeah, Fred, I just think about the pricing power for some of these companies as they're putting these products and solutions out into the market. For the companies that have already come out in this most recent quarter of earnings results and said they're going to be exercising more cost discipline going into next year, how does that then impact the pricing power for purchasers, or for rather the companies who are providing these solutions, as they're continuing to try and look across their portfolio of clients and try to figure out where they can upsell them?
Well, I think going into this next year, software companies have had, I believe, consistent pricing power. And I think as long as these generative AI tools are delivering a solution or a set of solutions that provide companies with greater efficiency and a return on their investment, I think that the pricing will naturally emerge. And I think that companies will have an opportunity in the software landscape to either price this on a per user basis, as we're seeing with Microsoft with 365 Copilot, or potentially to maybe adopt like a hybrid pricing, where you might have some level of per user pricing for generative AI tools, in addition to some variable pricing or usage-based pricing component, which could let these companies both manage their margin and capture more upside if customers are finding substantial value. I think going into this next year, though, as pricing for generative AI products emerge, I'm not so worried that the companies will not have pricing power, but I do think it will require monitoring and a careful watch of the market to see how the pricing competition actually emerges. Because prior to in 2023, essentially the two products available for enterprise use in the entire generative AI market that are being commercialized have been ChatGPT and GitHub Copilot. Going into 2024, we're going to have those two, of course, Microsoft 365 Copilot, then all the products and services that are pending launch in 2024 that have been in early access programs. So I think we'll have a period of price discovery, and I'm very eager to see how that plays out.
Fred, we are too. Appreciate it here. Fred Havemeyer, who is the Macquarie Head of U.S. AI Software Research. Fred, Happy New Year to you.
Hey, Happy New Year. Thank you.